Thank you all for joining. My name is Luke Johnson. I am your host. I am a business and development specialist here at Project Payment. I'm a husband, a father of three. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a business called Cookie Guy, cookieguy.biz, where I bake cookies for special events and parties and things like that. I've got a crispy, chewy cookie that is salty and sweet. Living in Reno, Nevada, where I enjoy being outside. I love to travel. We get to go to California quite a bit. And what I'd like you to do next would be imagine what you'd do with an extra $500 or $1,000. Would you put it away? Would you take a little extra trip? And then what would you do with an extra 2 hours a week? Would you spend more time with your family? Would you be relaxing on the couch? The problem is admin disorganization. So it takes a long time for you to collect the money, run the invoices, track the invoices, do all the accounting. What Project Payment was meant to do was simplify your day-to-day workflow. You will get immediate access upon signing up, and it's easy to use through the mobile app on your phone or at your desktop. And at $20 a month, it's priced for a small business. You get first-class support. I can't stress this enough. There'll be a real human being that answers the phone or your emails. If you ever come into any type of situation, you have a person that's got your back. And we have unparalleled access to our product team. We're developing new features and functionalities pretty frequently. Our development team is in-house. You got real people working on this software to make it happen. The benefits, you're going to have enhanced client satisfaction. They'll get reminders of when you're showing up, and you'll be able to have some easy ways to get referrals and ask them for reviews. You'll save time on your admin tasks. You can organize the financial side of your business with integration to QuickBooks as well. And you'll reduce late payments and improve cash flow through our system. I'm going to share my screen now with our Project Payment dashboard. When you land in Project Payment, you'll first see your active projects. You can toggle in completed projects as well. And then the next piece would be project estimates. These were all estimates that are either pending or maybe even you want to see the ones that have been declined. And if they are declined, the customer can give you a reason why. And then project requests would be ones that would come through a website form. So it would be connected with your website. And when someone fills out the form, their information gets captured in your Project Payment account. And you also get an email saying someone needs a quote to be given. So let's start with that estimate. Someone came to your website, is looking for something to do. Let's call this one Curly's house. Curly was my old dog, so we're going to create a customer called Curly Johnson. His email is curlyjohnsonrocks@gmail.com. And then when you have the rest of the information here, it'll show up in a Google map. Maybe I'll just put in a fake address here. Town I grew up in, Minnesota. I'm going to assign this to myself with a start date. We said it might start on Friday at noon. And then we'll build out the estimate. In the beginning, you're going to create a lot of new line items and giving them description, the price per unit. You can also do units as square feet or by room, item ID and budget code. When you're starting to work with a little bit more in-depth accounting and you want to give different jobs some different IDs, you can break them out with your item IDs and your budget codes. You have the ability to be taxable or non-taxable, but make sure you add them to your library as you go. And then once they're in your library, you can choose from here. Maybe this is a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, and you're going to just kind of leave it as is. You've got a ability to take photos here with your app on your phone, or you can upload a file from your device. Maybe this is before and after situation. These files will get attached to your customer and live with them along the way. You've got the ability to take a down payment, which is variable. Maybe it's 25% or you get the whole job up front. You don't have to take a down payment. And then there would be a message that goes to the customer with an email. Maybe you'd like a link in here that has your terms and conditions. They can click the link and agree to that. I'm going to be going to this email address here. You can preview the estimate. As I create the estimate, now it was sent off and I can wait for Curly to accept it. But let's say Curly and I were talking and they gave me the thumbs up. Now I can approve it on my end as well. Once you approve an estimate, now it becomes an active project. So the second step is having it on the schedule, going and doing the job. Sometimes when you're out there, the scope of the work might change. One of my cleaners has had this 5 basics, and this would be an upcharge of maybe doing additional garbage and dusting and vacuuming, something like, I don't know, mop, and let's say wipe down. So you can give some different descriptions there to what the job is. When you update the project, it works like a change order or a work order saying the scope of the job has changed. So when you go to invoice, instead of that $300 originally, they understand it's going to be $387. You can send an invoice for payment and they can choose how they'd like to pay. You can take payment now if you've got a card or their bank account information. Then there's processing fees to go along with that. You can record cash, check, or other. Other might look like a Venmo or a Zelle or a PayPal. There's no additional processing fees for these transactions. And then at the end, you can also add some more files of the work that was completed. You can preview the invoice. Then when you record the payment and create the invoice, it will show up now under the payment activity as our newest top line, and it has created an invoice. If you're deciding to do your accounting on your own, you can export your invoices to a CSV file, and then this will open through an Excel. You can select the date range and kind of utilize your accounting through here. Otherwise, later on, I'll show that we got QuickBooks integration as well. So looking at the project one more time, if I go and go into my customer Curly, we'll see all the projects we've done together. If there's any payment method saved on file, invoices that have been created, payments that have been made, and any files that have been attached along the way. You could also request an online review right from here, sending them an email. But we might want to create a reoccurring project for Curly. So we're going there every, I don't know, a couple weeks or so. This is going to be 123 Main Street, and we're going to go to our customer Curly. And I'm going to assign this to myself as a reoccurring project. Maybe this one is happening bi-weekly, starting next Wednesday and going for 3 months. So these dates will contain 7 bi-weekly occurrences. And that's how you would set up a job that you would see take hold on a weekly or biweekly or monthly basis. Schedule, you can look at this by day, week, or month, and it's interactive. So you can click into a day at a time and create an estimate, a project, or just an event. An event might be picking up your kids from school if you just want to utilize this to kind of keep your calendar. Customers, you have the ability to do an email blast. Potentially you send out an email, refer a friend, get $50 off your next organize or your clean. Taking payments can be easy. Maybe you were sent out to a job and you had to collect $200. You didn't have a lot of information about it. You just want to get paid. You process the payment. It'll show up on a payment activity. It'll create an invoice. You can go back and give a little bit more detail at a later time. Item library. These items are all editable, so you can change the names, descriptions, prices, everything along the way. So as you're creating your estimates, it's really easy to use. Invoices, once again, you can export them. You can also do an instant invoice from there. Payment activity could also be seen through this bar graph. You could do a date selection and a method selection, toggling in and out of what you'd like to see. And then finally here in settings, you'll upload your logo and then you'll replace your color to match precisely. You'll put where you are in the world. Maybe it's Arizona or California or New York. Invoice settings. When do you want to get paid? Due on receipts the day you do the job. And then maybe you'd like to do 15 or 30 days for the customer to pay. If they're after the due date, you could set this up to send them an email, maybe every couple or 2-3 days until you get paid. Set this at the cadence you want. This will help you with that cash flow and staying top of mind with your customer that might be late. Online review link. This would be a clickable link that goes out on your invoice after your job is done. If you had a great experience, leave us a review. Maybe it's Google or Yelp that you connect. Payment page. This would be a URL you'd copy and paste behind a button on your website if you would like to take payments on your website. Payment settings, the ability to surcharge. If someone is using a credit card, you can pass that fee along through surcharging. You would connect with our support team through this form, turning that on, and your credit card user would agree to the 3% processing fee. Enable tipping. Make sure you do this in organization and cleaning. There's a good opportunity to get tips. Estimate reminders. So if someone hasn't accepted an estimate or declined it, you can turn on an email that would go out saying, hey, this is still pending. Project start reminders. This would be the day before and the morning of. If you need to reschedule, please let us know. Request page. There would be a URL and embedded code if you would like to utilize our form that captures potential customer information from your website. Subscription settings. In your subscription settings here, it will show the processing fees and that subscription rate of $20 a month. There'd be also a big red button that says cancel subscription. There's no contract, so you can cancel at any time. QuickBooks integration. So this is a one-way sync. Every time you hit the button, any of the new numbers that are on your project to payment account will be pushed onto your QuickBooks. If there's new customers, that will also be pushed along. And then users, additional users, no extra cost. So you can add and delete users as you go. And that is project to payment. I pretty much hit every button that I could potentially push. A few questions on the chat here. Any monthly subscription fees, setup fee, transaction charges, all that is going to be shown in your settings. and it's $20 a month. And then there are different processing rates for credit cards and your debit cards and your e-checks. How does project payment help reduce late missed payments from clients? So we have those automations in the settings that allow you to remind a customer that they are kind of close to that payment date or after that payment date. What results have existing cleaning businesses or professional organizations seen after switching to project to payment, such as improved cash flow or reduced administrative time? So the biggest thing that I hear is people love that we are less expensive and it's easy to use. They use it on their phone while they're out talking to somebody. It reduces that administrative time because they're not carrying a piece of paper or just some notes back to the office and then sitting down and putting it in the computer. What security measures are in place to protect customer payment information and prevent fraud? So we are completely able to track all of that process through our security personnel here. Does the platform automatically send invoices, payments, reminders, receipts to customers? Yes, so there's email reminders that send out those invoices if you have a reoccurring job after every time you did the job. Payment reminders if that's all in the settings. Can I customize invoices and estimates with my company logo and branding? Yes, once again, that's all in the settings. Please share the recording. We will share the recording. And thank you all for joining today. If you need any more information, contact me, Luke Johnson at Project to Payment. And there's the phone number and our website. Thank you and hope you all have a great day.